Welcome to Overdrive Tricks with AC30. Overdrive and vibrato channel tricks. Now, the overdrive stuff I'm going to show you applies to pretty much every model of the AC30 with a top boost circuit, though it's helped along in this case because I have the added mid switch, which I highly recommend. If it's at all within your means, it's so choice. But the vibrato stuff I'm going to show you only applies to the TBX model and to the original JMIs. Now let's do the vibrato stuff first. The owner of this amp saw yesterday's video, was very happy, and asked if there was a way to get that much gain out of the vibrato channel. And short answer is no. Let me demonstrate. Here is the cranked Vibe Trem channel with an SG. Certainly not bad. And if you go to the vibe setting rather than Trem, you get a bit more gain. I might have that backwards. Yeah, tremolo, the Trem setting's got a little bit more gain than the vibe setting. But that's as much as it gives you, and you don't have any tone control over that other than the cut on the output. So also, most AC30s don't have that much gain on the Vibe Trem channel. I goosed the gain in this one. Not a ton, just enough that it's certainly noticeable. But what you can do, surprisingly difficult to do one-handed, is jumper the channels. And at that point, let me dial in my main sound with the top boost channel. And I'm going to turn on the tremolo. And I'm going to bring the Vibe Trem up until I hear it. Now it's just a matter of finding the ratio. Now I can set it like this and turn it off with a foot switch. I can set it so that I have more even balance. Or one thing which is really cool, if I set it about here, then my initial attack won't have much tremolo on it, but the sustain will. So there are ways to play with this and get exactly what you want. Let me turn the tremolo off and unplug that, because that's just how to incorporate tremolo. Let me do one more thing. The owner asked about high gain stuff, but it works just as well for the cleaner stuff. Now notice the relative levels of the Vibe Trem channel to the Brilliant. That's how much more gain the Brilliant has in the Vibe Trem. But now let's go to the overdrive tricks on the TBX. But now let's just go to overdrive tricks that are going to apply to any top boost channel. And it's something you heard on yesterday's video, though I did not explain it. If you set your AC30 up, like most people would, with the treble and bass, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, you get a pretty typical sound. And it's a great sound. But there's a particular thing this amp can do that other amps cannot. If you turn the treble and bass all the way down on a Fender or Marshall, you're going to have a really boring, dark, wimpy sound. If you do this on an AC30, though, because of a, quote, mistake in the tone stack, you get a real mid-range focused, aggressive sound. Let me compare that. So as you can hear, that's a really useful sound, and it's really weird and non-intuitive, and not many people stumble on it. But I highly recommend that you play around with the tone stack. It's very strange. For shits and giggles, let's do the opposite extreme. I don't recommend this one, but maybe as an overdub second part. It's really obnoxious. And one other thing, and for those of you who are experienced players, and Lord knows there are many better players than I am, please ignore this if you already know this. A lot of guys are used to using overdrive pedals, and you may have a lot of gain in the amp, but you don't play very hard. You're not really pushing the strings, you're not really pushing the amplifier, and there's a difference in sound. So if I do this with fairly light picking with a lot of gain, that's a certain sound. But a lot of stuff lives in a less overdriven but still loud amp where you smack the hell out of things. See The Who, see AC30. So I've turned the channel down, and I'm going to strum that part the same volume. Which sounds good. And for people who mostly use pedals, that's how their right hand attack kind of stays. But the same setting between, I'm going to play it the same way, and then I'm going to smack the hell out of the strings. If you have a real amp, don't be afraid to hit it hard, because then you can also do